Welcome back again. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have just joined us, we still continue with our news bulletin. We would like to apologize, of course, for that abrupt cut that we had. We had some minor technical glitches that we had to go through. But now we are back on action, of course, as we continue giving you the news headlines. President Cyril Ramaphosa reprimands Defense Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. And also we're looking into the story of Heritage Route has been launched in honor of the struggle stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. And Minerals and Energy Affairs Minister Kwete Mantashe hits back at the Hemen Mashaba. And the MEC, Panyaza Lusufi, has announced Gauteng matric examination dates. As well, we looked into a story of the MTC Vice Chairman calls for the UN to intervene in Zimbabwean crisis. Right now on the line, we are joined by Uputi Usandile, SWANA, who is going to be speaking to us, of course, with regards to President Cyril Ramaphosa's issue. But before we can get into that, of course, we understand that President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered the Defense Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula's salary be paid to the Solidarity Fund for the next 3 months, as detailed in the reprimand document for the African National Congress delegation trip to Zimbabwe. Ramaphosa issued the formal rebuke to the minister after it emerged that she allowed a senior ANC delegation to catch a lift on the South African Defence Force jet to the neighboring country, Zimbabwe, earlier on this month. Facing a backlash, Mapisa-Nqakula contended that she was on a working visit in her capacity as a minister and simply gave the ANC members a lift. Pressure had been mounting on the president to act quite very swiftly, with political parties, of course, and civil organization crying foul over an apparent abuse of state resources by the governing party. But Ramaphosa says that helping the delegation was not in the best interest of the good governance as required by Executive Members' Code. In a statement released on Saturday evening, Ramaphosa said that Mapisa-Nqakula demonstrated an error of judgment which is not keeping with the responsibilities of the minister in the cabinet. Now, we are joined, of course, as I mentioned earlier, by SANDILE SWANA, who's going to be speaking to us on this story. Mr. SWANA, good morning and a warm welcome to Galaxy Universal Network.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now, sir, we are seeing that the president is, of course, taking an action as he was required to do so. To start with, just to say that your salary for the next 3 months is not going to be, paid to you, but rather to the Solidarity Fund. And on top of that, of course, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula will have to make sure that the money that is what was used, or rather the bill that was sent to the ANC, is indeed paid. Is this a good enough form of reaction from the president?
Thank you so much. I think that the members of parliament who were asking the president to act swiftly were also mistaken in doing that. I think the president needed to be asked to present a sustainable solution to the problem. For the simple fact that the problem that we're facing with Mapisa-Nqakula is a long-term problem. Whilst Cyril Ramaphosa was deputy president, 2 times already she offended by allowing the Guptas to land at the Waterkloof base. After that, she took an aircraft and went to the Congo to pick up a family friend. Now this. On top of that, the South African Defence Force, National Defence Force itself, in international rankings, has not been improving. Instead, the Air Force in particular and the Navy have been declining in performance against international forces at a time when there are clear military threats facing South Africa, especially from Islamic militants coming from Mozambique, Somalia, and so on.
Yes. Now, I mean, a lot of other opposition parties, of course, they are saying that no, it is not something that they would want to see the president doing, to just reprimand her and saying that your salary will be taken. Is just that a good enough, or president is just still trying to be not harsh as well to the minister, because some would say, you know, it's not that much harm has been done. The ANC will pay back the money. She is getting punished, of course, by you know, having her salary taken away from her for the next 3 months. And we mustn't take that for granted, of course. People have got bills to pay. So this will obviously hit Mapisa Ngagula quite very much for her not to be able to receive her salary for 3 months. But they are still saying that they don't think that that punishment is enough.
I don't think the issue should necessarily be about hurting Mapisa Ngagula or not hurting her. The issue here is that we are running a country. The issue is that the decision that is taken, whatever it may be, must be for the long-term benefit of the country. Now, the action that she has taken are a clear violation of the Defence Act of South Africa.
Yes.
By allowing people who are civilians into the Air Force base and onto an aircraft.
Yes.
Many of them, we have no record that these people have been taken through security clearance. So once you violate that act, there are certain consequences that come from the act itself. And none of these parliamentarians, including Cyril Ramaphosa, has actually gone to that detail to say she has violated this section and that section of the Defence Act. And the section says these are the consequences that must follow. And let me add quickly that in the past, let's say since March this year, this is the third reprimand of a cabinet minister. You remember Stella Ndabeni was reprimanded.
Yes.
Tito Mboweni very recently was reprimanded. Nobody said, I don't know if people were crying for their blood or what, but people must be reprimanded according to the parts of our law and the codes of ethics that they've done, not according to how we feel or how angry we feel.
Yes. So now, I was coming to that question, of course, to say that Mapisa Ngagula is not the only person that has been reprimanded recently. We have heard Stella Ndabeni, and of course, you have also mentioned recently of the Minister Mboweni, and now Mapisa Ngagula. What does this mean to the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa at this moment? Is he leading by example, or there is a problem within the structure of the people that he leads?
The issue here is that the ANC the ANC has got a well-established history. When Thabo Mbeki fired Zuma went and mobilized the whole ANC and any other person out there, including private business and so on, and got Mbeki kicked out of office.
Yes.
When Zuma fired Pravin, Nene, and others, Tele, and so on, they went and mobilized the ANC, mobilized the masses, and got Zuma kicked out of office. So Cyril Ramaphosa is aware of this. So the first thing that any president that is now in, like Cyril, he will be unique if he stays the full term in office, even one term, because it's no longer the case that a president finishes a term of office in South Africa. It will be an achievement. So Cyril Ramaphosa will always be wise and careful to make sure that he doesn't get himself fired. Yes. So he will be trying to please every faction and every group, no matter what the mischief may be. A person who is fired will be fired by the NEC of the African National Congress, not by Cyril Ramaphosa himself.
So does it mean that the president is trying to play it safe to make sure that he saves his own skin at this moment? Because as you mentioned earlier, you know, once you kick them out, they go out and sharpen their sword and make sure that they throw it directly at you to be out of the office so that they can continue, you know, with whatever action that they were busy with.
Cyril Ramaphosa is a politician through and through. And his ambition for the longest time, since the 1990s, when Mandela came out of prison, Cyril wanted to be president of this country. You are not going to advise Cyril to give away that presidency. Cyril is going to do anything that he can to stay in office. That is the first achievement. That is the number one achievement of Cyril Ramaphosa during his presidency, will be staying in office.
Now, wow, it's really amazing to see how difficult now leading, especially during these times. Do we see, because now when we are still at it, do we see the ANC losing more power, especially in the next coming local government elections, given the fact that the ANC itself has a number of factions within itself? Now, of course, this can be seen from outside. A lot of people are slowly losing power, or rather losing, their trust within the ruling party. Do we think that, ANC might lose more followership during the next coming local government elections, or rather it's just going to be the same? People will still stick to ANC nonetheless, because they say the devil you know is better than the angel that you do not know.
I think the ANC is going to be under pressure, specifically in Gauteng and more particularly in the metros. There's going to be a lot of pressure. However, the ANC is well positioned because the EFF does not want to be part of a coalition anymore.
Yes.
The DA probably would want to form a different coalition with other parties, which are the same parties that the ANC wants to form with. And the ANC will still get its 40 to 50% of votes in each of these municipalities, and therefore be well placed to form a coalition. So the events since 2016 now favor the ANC, even if the numbers of the ANC don't increase. But I don't think they can fall below 40%, and that will put them in a very good place to lead coalition governments going forward.
Yeah. Mr. SWANA, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll catch up with you hopefully tomorrow and see other development in the political space in the Republic of South Africa. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Bye.
That was Mr. SANDILE SWANA, a political analyst, giving us just the beats on Mapisa Ngagula.